So turn your view into a subscriber. Let's jump into it. Now, the first thing I'll say about this whole entire thing, it is about you, not your content. One of the biggest mistakes I think I see from either new people on YouTube or people coming back and committing to more content on YouTube is this concept of people returning to your channel not only for your content, but for you as well. YouTube is a very competitive space these days. I mean, very rarely do you find a topic that a content creator isn't already focusing on. Now, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't seek out topics that nobody is talking about or very few people are talking about. That will only increase the chances of discoverability and people finding your content. But in almost all cases, you're going to be talking about content that other people are producing, whether that's relaying news and information, tutorials, adding knowledge, or sharing entertainment. Somebody is probably going to do something very similar. So how do you stand out? That answer is you. It's really cheesy. Let me redo that. Let me do that, everybody. So the answer to that is you. Is that any better? Yeah, we'll roll with it. Shout out to Wendy's for my lunch today. I am not sponsored. Now, developing your content and figuring out what you're going to include in your video is still very important for that initial view, that initial person to watch your video. Really prioritizing on making it the best content possible, and whether that's educational or entertaining, whatever it may be, that is still the bread and butter for someone to really click on your video and like the video. I can do a deeper dive on that bread and butter, how to get that initial click through thumbnails and titles and all that in a future video. Let me know if you want to see something like that. However, like I mentioned, a big mistake I see from a lot of YouTubers is that they don't add that extra factor to get people to come back and look for more videos or click on the channel to look at the variety of content, essentially to get that viewer into a possible subscriber. So how do you do this? Simply, how do you do that? Well, for people to return, they have to get to know you and they have to like you. And if you're just relaying content or information to the audience without really adding a flavor of yourself into it, what makes it different? What makes it unique? So I like to say that you need to add more of yourself in your content for that returning factor. Well, there are plenty of ways to do this, but I'll give you two examples or two things that I can highlight that may give you a better idea on how to do this. The first one is to figure out how you're going to relay information from your content to your audience that fits your style. Now, if you prefer your audience to want to get in and out of your video, just get the facts, just get the information, and click out of the video like right away, then that's how you need to organize your video. No rambling, no jokes, not much of that. So that's a bit tougher to add more of yourself. However, you are referencing yourself essentially and how you organize it, because that's the kind of community and audience you're trying to build. Now, if you want a community of viewers that want to know every single detail, specifically maybe about a tutorial, then you got to slow it down and go through every different explanation, every mistake that can be made, all that jazz. How you organize the delivery of what information you're giving to your audience really displays more of yourself than you think. A second one is to theme your content. I don't know if theme can be a verb, but I'm going to use it in that tense right now. And this isn't just an aesthetic or visual look of a color scheme and something like that. It can play into that, but that isn't everything. The best way I can describe this is examples. One of our clients is a realtor that's created a really great informative channel and community, but it's also really into retro video games. So a lot of the sound effects and fonts and even background set that he has all have references to old Nintendo 64 or old, gaming systems from like the 90s and the early thousands. Audience members that like that kind of stuff will kind of remember that and be like, oh yeah, that's the realtor that was into retro video games. I love that. Boom, that person's probably going to remember you and maybe even search your name out to find you again. Another great example is you could be a video game streamer that's really into the 80s era. So maybe it's using a lot of 80s, aesthetic, a lot of 80s, glamour. I don't know. I don't know how you want to describe it. Could be a lot of references to those movies back then, styles, all kinds of that stuff. So theming your content, again, isn't just an aesthetic. It's all the elements of how you portray yourself on YouTube. And I know I said I'll only give you two, but I'll kind of sprinkle this one in. And this is an entirely different topic that I can probably make into another video, which I probably will. Let me know if you want to see that. But that's really a thing that can get people to return, is your authenticity. Being authentic is really important, I'd say, on all social media, and specifically important for video content and YouTube. And basically what this is that it makes people believe that you're a real human being and not just a robot, is a really good way to describe it. To really get that authenticity feel from your viewer, there are many avenues and tools and things you can do to do that. Could be a personal story, could be, you could misspoken about something and you want to include that stutter in a video to be funny. You could burp, I don't know, any kind of that stuff. Kind of breaks that barrier of like, I'm not just a figure talking head to you, I'm a human being and I'm trying to have a conversation with you, is more or less what this is trying to do. I hope this was really helpful in helping you understand that you are just as important as your content, specifically for making that view into a subscriber. And if you want more of this type of content, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more tips and tricks about making video content. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see your content out there.